Thank you, bro, for the next one. If I can. Yeah, and I love this. Let's read on. From 5 to 8. In the same way, you who are younger, submit yourselves to your elders. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility towards one another. Because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety, all your cares on him, because he cares for you. Now here's the punch. Verse 8. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings. All right. And now I have a very interesting video, I think, that's coming up next. Is that the next? Yeah, that's it. Now I want you to pay very close attention to this, and I want to talk to you after playing this. Yeah.
Okay. Position your jeep. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. There it goes, there it goes. Check that video. Take it. Take it.
All right. What did you get from that? Anybody? What struck you from that video? What did that other buffalo who came, what did it do? Who did it hit? You would think that it would go after the lion. It didn't go after the lion. It hit and basically, what was it saying? Buddy, stand up. You can do this. This guy, you can beat this guy. You know, I would like to propose to you, we have the ministry of headbutting. You know, I saw this a few months ago and I shared it with everyone I knew, and I'm like, man, creation is preaching to us, man. We've had the ministry of headbutting, and sometimes if there's a little bit of headbutting, it's okay. Right? You should be okay with some headbutting. Sometimes those who love you will headbutt. Love makes you headbutt, whether that happens in a marriage, or it happens in friendship, or even in ministry right here, it's totally okay. Headbutting is okay. Love makes you headbutt. If that bull did not intervene, that friend would have been lunch, right? So love makes you headbutt. But then comes the next question. After that deliverance happens, you're delivered from the enemy, what's the next choice? What's the next step that you should make? But before I go into that, I love this. The next slide. Thank you, bro. We can read this together. Now, obviously, 1 Peter 5 talks about the roaring lion and all of that. The enemy is like a roaring lion. Now, something about lions that I discovered, I'm a huge animal buff, right? I love National Geographic and all of that. Lots to learn from creation. Now, like a lion, you think, would go after the strongest member of the pack. Lions don't do that. You know what they do? They go after the weakest or the one that's injured. They stalk for days. And they are observing which is the one that's walking with a limp. And let's target that one. Or the youngest. Enemy works the same way. See, even in ministry, I've seen a lot in 19 years. I'm telling you, in my first year in the Lord, in the first 6 months, I'm in a mega church in Dubai. And in my first 6 months, I ran into Seventh-day Adventists. I ran into Jehovah's Witnesses. And there's nobody to help you or guide you through that. You have to navigate all of those conversations with the help of the Holy Spirit. There's no pastor, there's nobody to actually help you or guide you through that, right? What am I trying to say? Enemy is dangerous, but the enemy always goes after the weakest, right? And those who are the youngest. Keep that in mind. But I love this as well. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So what are his devices? Right? Isolation, lies, deception, intimidation. And there are scriptures to back all of these. Right? But I think you would also notice that bull who fell into the lion's trap had strayed away from the... Yeah? And I think that's one of the biggest traps we tend to fall into is isolation. Newsflash, having served at a megachurch for a decade, I can tell you, you can be in a crowd and still be isolated. That's a good place to say. You can be in a crowd of 8,000, 9,000 people 4 days a week. I was in church 4 days a week. But looking back, I realized, though I was there 4 days a week for a decade, I was still technically isolated. Everyone knew my name because obviously I was in the front and doing all of that, but I didn't know anybody because there was no time for fellowship. There was no time for community. We're too busy for that, right? So that's one thing I want to leave with you. I think we can move to the next one, and I love this.